allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for joining us in our new boardroom.
Pretty cool.
First one ever.
Came together in the final moments. It looks beautiful. Nice job. Okay, are there any additions or revisions to the agenda?
So, yeah, the board, you have in front of you a memorandum of 2 items we'd like to add to the agenda tonight. Both items are time sensitive. We didn't know the status of both of these items when the board agenda was created last Friday, so we'd like to add that to the agenda with your approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the added documents.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Items added to G5 and G6. Anything else?
That's all.
Okay. Opportunity for public comment related to agenda items. We do not have any. Superintendent report.
Yeah, so we have Mr. Mukcheski here from the Skillman Corporation. We'd like to give us an update on our construction projects.
Thank you, Superintendent Anderson. I have a handful of handouts. You follow along on the monitor here or just pass them down. Mr. Jason, or Mr. J is my driver back there. Appreciate it. And there's a few slides in here that will take a minute and pause and go up to full scale and spend some time on. So I hope the first week of school is great for the admin here. Pray for the rest of the school year. I hope you guys enjoy your space. And as you're living it, breathing it, there's tweaking to do. We're still here, please call. All right. So, take it away, Jake. Appreciate it. We're going to hit on the 3 projects here: high school, middle school, and district-wide. Here's a quick shot of the press box looking into the football field, and boy, we are pushing to get this guy further here.
That looks neat.
Friday the 13th. All right. I'll always have this in case you folks want to revert back. Key plan with North Star on the admin building. I will be taking this off here pretty soon since we're living and breathing it, and I'll keep those. A few areas that I can see too. A few areas that we're focusing on. We have them highlighted here. Media Center right outside here. Great job with the loose equipment to the Tri-Creek team. Varsity football and grandstand and dugouts are going as expected. We did pump the brakes a little bit on varsity baseball to tackle some more soccer. So you'll see that in the update here. We are progressing nicely on soccer. We're going to get the concrete poured in the curbing, and then we'll start with the stone, and with hopes of mid-September-ish, have some turf. So, don't hold me to it, but we're trying everything.
Ain't saying nothing.
Right? So some positive news that I want to bring to the table. So, again, by me saying we pump the brakes on varsity baseball, there's no major issue, just averting. It does make some sense, but the way we designed the whole thing, design meaning the front end documents, when a contractor wants to be productive, they go clockwise or they go counterclockwise. With heavy soils here, it just made sense balancing the site to go counterclockwise. That's why soccer was where it is, but called an audible at the line. No big deal. All right, so next 4 weeks, 4 sidewalks around the football field, moving our way south towards the ticket booth. Soccer field curbing, I mentioned that earlier. Tennis court grading, that's going well. No unsuitables in that area, so we're out of the clear there. Moving utilities for Holtz Road. So real quick on that one, NIPSCO came through, did what they did, and then we're having a little bit of difficulties with AT&T. So when they move their pedestal, we will start the undergrounds and get that going. With sidewalks last, we figured let's just get the street aligned and adjusted. Sidewalks can be last without getting into winter conditions. Okay. Ticket booth and mason repairs, going up earlier today, they look great. I inspected them earlier. And complete the community building. We are in the process with Indiana American Water with the water meter and the check valve. So more to come on that. We have to get the water on so we can do what we need to do in there. All right, moving along nicely. We will pause here for a minute after the update. Okay, same thing here, heavy concrete pouring throughout the whole district, so finish the sidewalks, finish changing lights in the weight room, cardio room, lighting for the stage where I'm going, and this specific project will come to an end, less punch list items, things of that nature. So, Andy and team, we walked out here first day of school when buses, keep focused on this yellow area if we can. There we go. Perfect. Thank you, Jay. This isn't a touch for me to do anything. All right. So what we have here is very light, but you can see in blue where the buses stack.
A little more fire.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Thank you. All right. So when the buses stack, staff, you have staff there. Students of X 100 exit out of the buses. It's tight. It's tight. It's 5+ feet, 5.5 feet. We actually took the tape measure. So we're going to need to extend what you see in yellow to 12.5 feet to make both travel patterns palatable. We don't have any fears of the existing drive being damaged when we pour that. Georgia buggies protect the asphalt, no big deal. We also want to take care of this ramp here. All right. Or I'm sorry, further up there. I'm sorry, further up there by the traction closer and equipment. You do have so someone may be thinking, well, you have an existing concrete walk poured here, existing concrete or a new walk is going to get poured here. That flaring, as we call it, we're not concerned about it. You have that same situation. I'm spun around with my direction here, north-northwest, with a walkway heading east and west, right outside the high school parking area.
You pin it too, don't you?
We will pin it, yes. So it's monolithically poured to the street side, solid. And yes, Nick, we will pin it. Thank you. We will pin it to the existing. So to take away your fears, that flaring, as we call it, will eventually blend together. All right. We're pricing it currently. So, any specific questions on that, Andy? If I covered it all, if not, add to it, please.
You pretty much covered it all. This is a non-negotiable. We really need to have ample walk space for the kids. It's a brand new drive with a brand new concept, and so we think that we've got the solution with that. The second enhanced solution may be reconfiguring how the buses pull around, and so we're working with Gibraltar on how they can be staged. The third item that we'll be bringing to the board with a change order is the exit onto Klein Avenue. Originally, it was a one-lane in and a one-way out, and when we were monitoring the construction, it was noticed that, hey, we should have a right turn only and a left turn exit only.
You can kind of see it in the gray down there in the corner.
You talk about the south entrance?
Yes.
So that's there now, isn't it?
It is.
Left turn only?
Pardon me?
It's just one lane in each direction.
So you have your entrance lane, right?
Yeah.
And then isn't there a right and a left?
There is now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant like you were planning on putting that in.
We went ahead and gave the direction to put it in
Right.
because it was the cheapest to do it right then before, actually it was right before they were getting ready to pour.
Yeah.
And so,
Economy of scale was great. No remobilization.
And that just gets the traffic out faster.
right, so we did make it, when I say we, I mean me. I made an executive decision that.
Is there gonna be any kind of signage for buses only and student drop off and all that?
Yes, that's internally, but yes, we have a budgeted line item.
Okay.
Also,
I know it was the first day, but I noticed there was a bus in the
Yeah.
in the student drop, it didn't go in the student drop off area, but it started going that way.
yeah, yes, you're correct. And there's signage that we don't like how our folks did it, we're improving that, like entrance A, entrance B, with spray paint. Take that art home. We're gonna do a little different sign here with still in art hat, so we'll get that rectified, but yes, we will have that. And then there's also permanent interior signage that you folks will do. Keep in mind, you still have that dotted line here that you can vaguely see a future item. So one may be thinking, are we going to encroach on that? No. With the new walk, no.
So I was out there looking at it, and I noticed where the compactor, all that trash stuff is, like, we're kind of stuck with that narrow strip
Little
there,
sliver
right?
there, yeah.
We're gonna have to probably keep that what it is, or are we trying to encroach somewhere to widen that?
It is going to be tough for this way because you have this whole pattern, but
Yeah,
inward wise, we can look at that.
It's not as much of an issue because
Yeah,
the number of kids going down there to catch their bus.
yeah, there's only
Yeah.
one that can fit
Yeah.
there,
Right.
right?
You have
Okay, it's
a-
more the south part
Yes.
that
Yeah.
really has the, and
Yes.
where the kids come out of the building
Yes.
and everything, okay.
it just gives kids a great opportunity to be rambunctious with book bags and listen until they go with the sign.
It will help expedite because kids can stage instead of staging inside the school where the buses pull up, get them on, get the buses out. It's like a roller coaster. The next train comes in, everybody gets on, get them out.
Multi-tiered.
Yeah. So the team over there has already improved the timing between 20 and 25 minutes since the first day.
Great.
So we're making progress and we think we can probably shave another 10 minutes off of that.
It's a whole new concept over there with the intermediate school being added in, with this new pathway, and, so working out the bugs that first week is, wonderful.
Works in progress.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's that. Two more slides and, district-wide. It's been a great project. We're all over the campuses, and again, thank you for emptying rooms out, putting new things back in, and it was a great partnership. We have a few more items to do. There are a few contractors that will spill into fall break and Christmas break, but for the most part, behind the scenes, toilet partitions at Three Creeks and Oak Hill, finish exterior painting at Lake Prairie, install reception desk at the three elementary schools, which are backordered a little bit. And I failed to put on here painting of the middle school red canopy, sprucing that whole thing up, so.
The back canopy on the middle school, when I was just there the other day, has been painted. It looks so good.
Excellent, excellent.
Okay, I didn't go in
We
there.
gotta keep the flying creatures away.
Yeah, it looks really, I was walking in, I'm like, something's changed.
Yeah.
Something's changed.
And it was just color,
Yeah,
but now it's cohesive.
and clean and fresh, and yeah, it looks great.
So, district-wide,
Do you mind going back to that one slide? Kevin has a testimonial regarding the acoustics in the new.
I do, and I've got some photos too, so if he wants to wrap up, I can jump in or whatever you'd like
Why
to
don't
see,
you
Mr. Anderson.
comment on the media center acoustics,
Sure.
and then we can say the other part.
Yeah, so we've lived that space, board meetings, parent events, that kind of thing. One of the big parts was we didn't just want it to improve aesthetically, which you can see there with the acoustic panels on the side. You can kind of see the clouds in there. I'll show you another picture too. One of the big things was just, it was so much white noise. You could never hear, you were talking over one another, it wasn't functional. And we wanted to have separate learning spaces for intermediate school kids because they're there every hour, every day, doing things. Plus you've got your student tech help desk, plus you've just got general traffic. I was there talking with Mrs. Kreiner, who's the librarian, at about this spot. And I would say Mr. Johansson, who was working with the tech kids, was probably over to Mr. Anderson. I couldn't hear a word he was saying. He was under one of those clouds, in one of those spaces, and because the sound was being contained to his space, I would have had to really reach to try to hear what he was saying to those kids. Moving about the space, there's not the boom as you heard, like going up and down the stairs, because they did treatments underneath the stairs. The tiles are all new in there, so they're effective for like not bouncing off of that sound. So just going in there, I would encourage you, because you guys lived it in the board meetings, of like just what it is to contain that sound more than just how beautiful it is. Functionally, you can have 4 or 5 groups in there all participating actively and not feel like you're drowning one another out with the sound. So kudos to, I like this word and I think I made it up, acousticians. The gentleman we brought in from Carmel, Indiana, kudos to him, because he really was the architect that advised us on what could really help contain that sound and make a massive space full of square footage really, really functional, and it's impressive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's a unique individual. We were skeptical. There was massive drumming underneath this stairwell.
Yeah.
Massive, Connor.
Yep. Well, when I was in there during that, intermediate school kids were changing, going to their specials and electives. Tech was happening, a special was happening, and 7th and 8th were changing, and like I could hear anything I wanted to, and I wasn't shouting, I was having a conversation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now I want to pop into the middle school library. That's
too.
awesome.
Thank you.
Do you mind if we go back,
No, you're fine.
to the athletic campus of the high school? So we've got our first football game coming up on Friday the 13th. We will have functionality with the community building, which will house the spirit wear, the restrooms, and concession stands. We will not have North Star or the concessions of the North Star. And so we're making arrangements right now for there to be a satellite makeshift concession area for the visitors, running some power off of the ticket booth on that south side, using coolers for drinks. So just be aware that it's a bare minimum. We're playing on a field. We've got some operable toilets and restrooms, but it's far from complete.
When did you say the first home game was?
Friday, September 13th.
And we will walk as a team to say, that's not gonna work, fence it, open the fence. We have miles of fencing. There's an email circulating with a logistics plan. However you folks see fit, we'll adapt. Okay?
This is going to be a big game. We also have Pop Warner Night that night. They added in, and it's Hanover, which is quickly becoming a new rivalry. Do we have plans for restrooms on the guest side? Are we going to do porta potties or anything like that?
We've talked about it. Where we left it, we were going to have 2 porta potties for the home football, 2 porta potties for visiting football. We had talked about 2 porta potties for visitors, with the overflow going to the community building. We left it with, we were going to do just overflow to the community building now that we have larger restrooms. Do you feel that we need to add porta potties on the visitor side? You all know those games.
If I may, and I know them games as well, there was just 2 proposed for the visitor side. I think we need to increase that, and we'll assist with hand washing stations. So when COVID hit, a lot of the hospitals shut down. I was at another district doing the high school, and we had an influx of 50, 60 tradesmen, circular pump, clean water, soap, sanitizer, worked great. So we'll talk more.
That's wonderful. We're trying to be proactive with parking, finding as much parking and putting in signage. So I'm also planting the seed out there with the Holtz Road construction, trying to avoid the first, right?
Well, the good thing is they'll be coming, it won't be like Crown Point that comes kind of down Holtz Road. If we're hosting Crown Point, a lot of that traffic comes from the north to the south down Holtz Road. With Hanover, their traffic should be coming through town and just up in. So maybe they could have the front lot. That could be because I know we just got a thing from Crown Point for their game of guest parking is here and our home parking is here. So maybe we could send something like that to them.
The complex was designed that north parking lot on the visitor side would be for visitor football.
Right, but is that lot gonna be open?
Yes.
with that, ticket booth?
Yes. That's the goal right now,
Okay,
yes. So it was the goal to have North Star first floor open, the 5-week roofing strike kind of killed things. So point is, outside of our element, we're trying to get it done.
So we would have that parking, and I believe there's, in front of the future natatorium, where that's currently off limits, I believe that will be gravelled. And
Yes.
it looks like that we'll have access to it for parking.
Yes.
Won't be lined or paved, but
Yeah,
people can drive there.
yeah, and I do want to touch on that briefly. I know you have a large agenda on, and I don't have that floor plan laid out here anywhere, but if you can envision north of Fieldhouse how the new natatorium is laid out. Our plan is to give you more parking once we figure out logistics of contractors and who we're gonna have on site. Okay, so we felt that was better than to say, hey, you have all this parking, now we need to keep taking away. We went the opposite way. So we'll have a logistics plan we'll go over with Jason, and we're gonna say, hey, right now we need X by Y, but we'll give you, after we bid and after we mobilize, we'll give you this much more parking. So that's our goal, to continue to go west. Okay, that's just a future no piece. But yeah, that's our goal. That's our goal. Get those areas done. So, and stoned out at least in that west area.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy birthday, Dana.
Kevin, do you want to jump on with your photos?
Very
before
briefly,
we
yeah.
construction?
Can I steal it from you?
So while he's pulling that up, if you can recollect, at the middle school, there was the weight room and the cardio room. And so we flip-flopped those spaces to be more conducive to their function. And so Kevin's going to walk us through after the
Yeah.
updated.
that's a beautiful picture.
Yeah.
That was from today. I wish there would have been kids in there. You can see a couple kind of hiding, but I wanted you to at least see the sound clouds.
You're
that
the
are up there.
photographer on it?
I am the photographer.
That's a nice one.
That's a really nice photo.
Hey, so there's one angle that you can kind of see the small group instruction places as well. To the left, the office desk of our librarian. Here's another angle where you can see the office, small group instruction, the main entrance over there, but also additional acoustic panels on that back wall, larger. And you can kind of see them in the hallway as well. Those were additional acoustic panels. And I'm right underneath one of the gray and black sound cloud. And then this is the vantage point of the tech desk. So those tables there, plus to the left, are Mr. Johansson and his class. And you can just see how much they're using that space. So, and you already heard the good stuff about how it sounds. This is,
I can see it on yours.
Yeah.
They-
it's not as purpley as it looks.
Yeah,
but
that-
it's different on my screen.
Yeah.
It's gonna present that way. This, to Mr. Anderson's point, was the flip. So this was previously the weight room, currently the cardio room. So this is all new equipment in terms of machines. So on the back wall, you see treadmills. Closest to us, you see ellipticals. In the middle, you see the bikes. Those power lifting stations were existing from the previous project when we initially did the work. So everything in there is enough for full PE classes with larger class sizes than we currently have. So there's another angle, a reminder that we did zero electric work. So every one of these machines is manual, and they are just really, really rugged. We chose ones that would not fall apart, break. The handles, the grips on them don't have things that are gonna like pick apart like foam or anything like that. So durability, and we were able to work with a vendor who actually did the work initially when the middle school was built for that weight room upgrade. So this is the space. The kids have not been in there yet, but I know that they're chomping at the bit to give everything a try. I think the teachers have more. There was always question about whether the flip-flop would work. You know, part in the darkness, because as Mr. Muchevsky said, they're doing the lights, so you can see there's no lights in there right now, so it's a darkened room. But this is the exact amount of racks. You can see the dumbbells in the back, you can see the plates, we can see the ab machines, you can actually kind of see the two belt machines in the back there, everything. We didn't lose a single piece of equipment, fit into this space, and we didn't have to remove any of the casework nor did we have to remove the washer and dryer that are tucked back there in the corner. So we've got everything in there with additional space for safety regulations in between those presses, so that this space, which is primarily used for football, can be used in the after-school hours. Our middle school kids or intermediate school kids don't use this space during the day, but they will be in that cardio room a whole lot. So kudos to that team. They did an excellent job disassembling, moving, shifting. He brought like 8 high school and college athletes from Franklin, Indiana, and boy, they knocked it out in one day, and it was impressive. It was impressive. So great spaces for our kids, not just to the upgrades that we're getting that Mr. Wachowski talked about, but now kind of functionality with the loose equipment that's in them as well.
And we didn't have to touch the floor either.
This, yeah, same flooring there, met the grade, did research on that. Jason looked into it with our friends at Gibraltar, and we were able to maintain the flooring, and it was up to the expectation for that type of equipment.
We were really able to utilize our square footage that we already had and get a true value add to our programming.
Yeah.
That room, I popped in there during back to school night. I don't know, did you guys have the opportunity to look in there? It is just, it always bummed me out to see it sitting there dark with the weight equipment, that stuff, that nobody was using. To then look in there and see, okay, this is a fitness center. This is a room that our students in PE can be using and getting better, physical health for their mental health and well-being, and getting all those jitters out throughout the day. So I'm so excited about that too.
Yeah, I've never seen a fitness room like that, ever.
It's so nice.
I'd stay away.
Stay away.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Deal. Next on superintendent update, I've asked Dana to talk a little bit about the day last spring when she and I were in the new middle school conference room. And as it was storming outside, electric sparks were flying over our head because there was a lightning strike. And what did it do to our facilities?
It was, I don't know if we had a lightning strike to the building. There was one reported within a mile of the building. So it probably hit a line further down and caused a surge in the middle school building. We were sitting in the new middle school suite, the office suite, and yes, there were pops of light here and there through the light fixtures, and there were different reports throughout the entire building of similar stuff, dimming lights coming back on. It was probably a good, 6 minutes of just what's going on here with everything with the storm. So we did realize some damage at that time with lights immediately in our new suite there, that we had just fixtures that weren't working, others that would only come up to half power. I filed an insurance claim, just put them on notice, just saying I don't know what the extent of the damage, because a lot of times when you have storms like this, you don't realize the extent of the damage until you get further down the line, when you find out that pumps might not be working, or switches or things in the ceiling that you just take for granted should be working, and you find out later when we start getting maintenance tickets in there and Jason's crew starts investigating that we find out there's issues. So it's been an ongoing investigation. Jason Rothen's been leading that with our insurance company. They have sent out forensic investigators on this as well, because it goes through a very extensive process with insurance. And the bills started adding up quickly. We've got HVAC issues, we have internal electrical issues with lighting systems and fire alarm issues with our panel that we found out over time. We're even questioning some of the activity that might have been related to our solar field production that might be a little slighted as well. So there's a lot of different things that Jason's been documenting with all of our contractors, and the claim is looking like it's probably going to be in the range of about $200,000 worth of damage to that building. We have a $25,000 deductible. They have already pre-approved $100,000 to be issued to the school district for costs, because obviously we were investigating this through summer and we need to get that building up and running. Mainly the HVAC. We have fan-controlled units throughout the building that were fried, about 40 of them? 47 of them that were fried just as, just from the storm. each of them expensive, and, you know, we had to get those replaced so that we could have some comfortable, buildings when we had all staff in.
Jason, did any electricians look at the grounding system to ensure that it was appropriately
Yep,
grounded?
we had that was the first thing they touched after we had the surge.
Okay.
We had a lot of surge protectors got burned up, which is a good thing.
Right,
Better
right,
than their
right,
whole
it could have been
electric
worse.
system. So we went, and we're still going through everything. So
Okay,
it's still ongoing to make sure we have cleared every canal we can with the wiring and the fire alarms and all that stuff.
yeah, I was hoping it would have been contained to the supply side and not end up in the,
I do have to say our insurance company, Liberty Mutual, has been wonderful to work with on this claim. I've worked with different insurance companies and this insurance company on other claims. We had a lightning strike years ago at the high school. And it was very difficult to work with before. It was a different company. Liberty Mutual's been really good. And their investigators and everything coming out. And of course, Jason's pretty knowledgeable on, he's learned each time we've had a minor claim, what missteps or what kind of documentation we need. So he has been, you wouldn't believe the pictures he's had to take and store the spreadsheets of all the units because they want to see this. You know, you just can't say it's, here's the invoice, pay it. They want to investigate it. So he's been containing everything as if it was like an evidence type, you know, sealed thing. So he's done a great job of that. So that has really helped in proving our case that this damage was caused from the storm, and that's why they pre-approved a check in the amount of $100,000 to actually offset some of the costs that we had to get things going. So this is ongoing. We'll bring a full total to the board once we have it finalized. And again, $25,000 is our deductible on this. So
Lightning's such an unpredictable how it goes through a building and through your system. Yeah. Because we had that at our house a while back, and it was like our water cooler went out and like the panel on our heater went out. It was weird, random things that, and it's not just one track.
Yeah, that's what makes it difficult.
Yeah, yeah.
So I should probably note the sparks that I saw never were endangering anybody.
no, because I
anybody
jumped,
caught
but I
it.
didn't see him, and he was like, "Oh my God!" And I'm like, "What?" You know?
he thought that was his moment.
Yeah.
And that's the super, no, there is one more thing. Bargaining with the teachers union officially begins on September 15th. So we did some pre-bargaining in the summer. The primary focus is our extracurricular lineup and positions. So we'll keep you posted on how that continues to play out.
And the relationship was cooperative and trusting.
Extremely.
Excellent.
That's the superintendent's report.
Moving on to board member reports.
I have a report from the NICEAG School Board meeting last Wednesday. We did the traditional things that boards do, but some of the specific things were Neola policy updates. We did quite a few of those. They updated the health and dental insurance premiums for the staff and took care of that. And then I'm always dwelling on the personnel part. I'm always disappointed in the number of resignations right at the end of the school, or at the beginning of the school year, or in the middle of the school year. And that still took place with a couple of our teachers here. But I'm happy to announce that they had plenty of replacements to fill those positions, so that's good. And then the director of NICEAG wanted to thank Tri-Creek School Corporation sincerely for the donation of some unused furniture that you had and equipment. So they were very happy about that.
Dana and Jason helped coordinate that.
Nice.
And that's it.
Thank you. Any others? Okay. Moving on to regular business consent items. Approve the minutes of the meeting held on Thursday, July 25th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second?
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Number 2, approve payroll and claims. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Personnel, approve the personnel report dated August 22nd, 2024. Have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Motion and a second, any further discussion?
I see a lot of, or a few robotics coaches on here. Are we any closer to getting robotics started at the high school level?
So, in the years past, and I might draw upon Mr. Blackman because he's kind of, no, that's esports, never mind. We vetted that out for robotics last school year. And there was a sentiment that the competition against other high school robotics teams that had courses during the day that fed into that program we would not even be comparable. One.
In
Two,
what way not comparable?
when you've got classes in the school day that directly align with robotics and ours to be extracurricular. That was one. And then two, there has been no interest expressed by staff to sponsor a robotics program. We did pre-bargaining this summer and not one person has brought to the table a robotics.
So that's not what we're offering.
Currently is not. I made
Is there
reference to the esports because it's kind of the same thing. We threw it out there to offer esports and there was no sponsor to come forward. Although there is now.
There is now.
Yeah.
What about student interest? Is there an overwhelming demand for it and there's just not a response from teachers?
I'm trying to recollect the report that I got nearly a year ago. Well, here's what I could say. I haven't heard any reports of students wanting to pursue it. That doesn't mean that there aren't.
Maybe a survey or something?
I was gonna say, maybe that's something we could survey.
We can
Obviously,
circle back
it's not
around.
something this year, but
Is it not something we can offer as a class during the day?
that's what I was thinking.
Well, you would have to have somebody to teach it, and how does it fit in with pathways? So there are factors. We can explore it again. I'll dig out the report that was given to us that I had shared. I believe it was like last October.
I think it's an up and coming thing and kids are interested in it. And it does reinforce math and science.
Does anybody, you might know, because you were involved in it somewhat at Lake Prairie, like, do you know how long we've been offering it at the elementary levels?
Years. So Colton started it at Lake Prairie. He was the first year that started in second grade.
Okay,
But it
so,
was already going on at the other schools before Lake Prairie got into it.
My daughter Prairie offered it first.
Yeah.
Oak Hill started theirs later.
Okay.
They're fairly
I was
new.
gonna say 6 or 7 years is what I thought, because my daughter was in it as a fourth grader and it was relatively new at Oak Hill, so that was 5 years ago, so probably 6 or 7.
Is she still
so those
pursuing
kids
it?
are now starting to
She's
land
not,
in
but she
high
loved
school.
the experience.
Yeah.
And so that desire for it may be coming in now with those kids that have worked their way up through and gotten finally to the high school
And I
level.
think that there's a drop off of interest in the middle school level because you're competing with sports at that point. So some of the kids that did it at the elementary level, but I think a lot of the elementary schools now, I think originally there wasn't a huge interest, and so it was kind of like whoever wanted to do it got to do it. And now I think there's been kind of an influx in that to where they're actually having to do tryouts and like people are getting cut. So there may be those kids that now didn't do it in elementary, but then did it in the middle school. It's a lot when you get to the high school level. It's nothing, I mean, it's intense. It's not like you can practice once a week and be good. I mean, it's definitely something that you really have to put the time and effort into. And I think that that's probably why you're not seeing a teacher willing or wanting to step up, because in all reality, that position would probably have to look more like an athletic coaching position because of the time that you're putting into it.
Or classroom position.
Yeah, or a class during the day that they can meet, and you're getting that extra practice in.
It almost seems to me too, like we have the racing team and the welding teams and all those teams that are happening in our trades building, but I wonder if that's maybe not pulling some of those hands-on, mechanically interested kids to those programs that maybe other schools don't offer like we do, so.
That's a possibility too.
So, I misspoke, I just pulled up a report, it was this past January and February when we acquired. I had presented to the high school administration, the report to identify other high schools that participate in robotics competitions, identify which, if any, high schools have robotics class during the school day, what type of license is required to teach, the perspective of a possible after-school club. If paid, it would obviously have to go through negotiations. Do we know of anyone who might want to volunteer? And for anyone who would take it over, what kind of background they would need to have.
I think Jay's got the qualifications.
I'm not the robotics coach in my family.
And we had also explored possible grants. So as I click on the report, it has been deactivated, so I'll have Jay try to see if he can pull that report back up. And we'll circle back around. We can see if there's interest there from faculty and students and what we might need to do.
That sounds good.
So back to the personnel report, good diversion, but any other discussion about personnel report? Or move to it? Okay, all in favor of approving the personnel report dated August 22nd, 2024? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Approve new hourly rates for the school nurses starting with the 2024-25 school year. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the rates for nurses.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Business operations, what were those words? Approve the request for a cash change bank at Lowell Middle School, Lowell Intermediate School, in the amount of $1,000 for the 24-25 school year for various extracurricular activities, gate cash box, bookstore cash box, and concessions cash box. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion in a few seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Award the contract for diesel fuel to Avalon Petroleum, Kankakee, Illinois, for the 24-25 school year. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Award the contract for gasoline to Al Warren Oil, Hammond, Indiana, for the 24-25 school year. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Number 4, approve the proposed archway sign project as presented by Legacy Sign. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I just have one. I asked a lot of questions about that, and I was satisfied with the results of the various materials for an extended maintenance period on it, and I think it'll work out well.
Just to bring you guys up to speed, some of the questions were if it was aluminum or galvanized steel, to make sure rusting in the paint and everything long-term, we don't need to be trying to paint these.
Because it was very detail-oriented. It's a lot of labor to get up there and do that, and it would be
For sure.
expensive, but the signage itself is aluminum, which is good, and then the structural part, because of this span, is all structural metal, and then they're priming it and sealing it with a 10-year seal, so I feel comfortable with that.
Thank you for asking those questions too. It's so nice that you have that background to think of those things that we don't know have awareness of. Any other discussion? All in favor of the proposed signs?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Number 5, approve the construction trades agreement between Brooker Contracting and Tri Creek School Corporation. Do I have a motion?
I'll certainly make a motion on that one.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, just want to acknowledge Brooker Construction. Originally, we were informed that the sponsorship was not feasible for this upcoming school year. We then started to explore possible self-funding of the project. And when we sat down face-to-face with Jim this past week, he indicated that he was now in a position to move forward with the contract. He worked with Dana to review and make some slight revisions in the contract. And so what you have before you begins on page 5 of the packet. Basically, he's sponsoring all the finances, so there's no risk to the school corporation. Once the house is built, there's a donation made back to the school district. So it really is a great partnership, and it provides, most importantly, an opportunity for our kids to build a house.
Very grateful.
And a good house.
Very grateful to Burger Contracting for their involvement with us and cooperation with us. It's great for everyone.
I can say the one major change in this is that we took out a section in here where last year Jim Brooker allowed us to use one of their flat trailers. And the reason why we don't need it is because we used the proceeds that we received from the program last year to purchase a trailer of our own. So like it's going back into the program and we're using that, so.
Excellent.
Good investment.
Mhm.
Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. G6, accept the proposal presented by Field Turf in the amount of $70,210.50 to provide synthetic turf without logo for the Pitchfork Playground at Lowell High School. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
So we began this discussion in one of our work sessions and with Gibraltar and Skillman. And what you have in your supporting documentations, the request for proposals came back. And as you can see, that basically the difference between just the green turf and the green turf with a logo is approximately $55,000. And the recommendation is to not apply the logo. We can find other means to brand that area as a cost savings to our community. So the recommendation is for the amount as presented.
And that's the playground, that's not the football field.
Correct.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Business operations, consent items. We're just gonna go through all of these and then we'll begin. Approve the overnight athletic trip for Lowell High School boys varsity tennis team to participate in the tennis tournament at Noblesville High School from August 30th to 31st, 2024. Approve overnight field athletic trip for the Lowell boys varsity and junior varsity tennis teams to participate in the tennis tournament at Eastern Junior Senior High School from September 27th, 28th, 24. Approve the overnight athletic trip for Lowell High School boys varsity tennis team to participate in the tournament at Crawfordsville High School September 6th to the 7th. Accept the donation from Robert and April Bolt of Knox, Indiana in the amount of $101.70 to help support the Feed Them Forward Fund for negative student meal balances. Accept the donation from Jenna Cooper in the amount of $33.30 to help support Feed Them Forward. Accept the donation from Brandy Warlick in the amount of $14.65 to support Feed Them Forward. Accept the donation from Tim and Amy Casada of Lowell, Indiana in the amount of $100 to support the FFA extracurricular account for conference registrations. Accept the donation from Randall Whiterock of Lowell, Indiana in the amount of $500 to help support the FFA extracurricular account for conference registrations. Accept the donation from Hybing of Madison, Wisconsin in the amount of $575 to help support FFA extracurricular accounts. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the athletic trip, overnight trips and the donations.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on, public comment not related to agenda items. Yes.
How is the program feeding forward?
Feed Them Forward, we were able to wipe clean all of the negative lunch accounts that we had over the school year and start every balance with a positive this school year. And I think we had about $700 still remaining. The total that we wiped was in the area of, I believe, around $7,000 with our donations.
Wow.
Yeah, somewhere around there. So it left our balance in that $700, $800 range. And then these are additional donations to help fund future forward to see what comes up.
Aren't discussions or talks going on in the state about free lunches
There
and
are.
possible breakfast for the kids?
There are, it is a state decision that they can do,
Right.
but we'll see where that ends up.
Yeah, right before election, all this.
Right,
stuff.
we'll see.
What,
It would
what
be a
was,
good move.
what was the outlay last year?
Last year, I believe it was in a similar fashion, it was, I think it was around $8,000, so yeah, it was very similar. It's been trending that way, $8,000 to $10,000 a year, unfortunately.
Portage is offering free breakfast and lunch right now.
It's probably based on their percentage, because when you get a certain percentage, you can go district-wide with the free, by the guidelines, but our poverty rate isn't there. Not something I want to root for by any means, but,
That's weird.
That becomes a federal program at that point, right?
yes,
Right.
yeah, it's their guidelines.
All right. Next meeting for Tri Creek School Board of Trustees is scheduled for Thursday, September 12th at 2024 in this new room. Any other discussion?
Hopefully the doorstep will be poured and you can come in.
The directional signage was wonderful.
Hey,
Ever figured
back of the room,
put
back of the room.
Becky in?
Hey.
Yes.
Well done.
One perfect.
Well done. All right.
Yes.
Wayfinder.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.